Hello, this is the Handicapable Black Woman Throne Room. My view of humanity is a whole new tea. Hi, hello, how are my lovelies, my royalty? You already know the drill. It's like let's get that boiling hot, steaming patty tea out. If you like it cold, just hold the ice. Yeah, let's just hold the ice. Okay, I kind of want to know, why do parents feel such a privilege that when they do something wrong that their kids can't know, shouldn't know at all, and or people are not going to be allowed to talk about it because that's going to make them look bad. But they did something bad. But since they're a parent, we can't, even though they hurt other people, those people that they possibly hurt are not allowed to talk about or discuss it because it might come back to their children. Cause and effect, you know, cause and effect. So, but yeah, I really want to know this because, I mean, I've told you guys some of the things my parents did throughout my life, and especially being undiagnosed. And I've shown one of the worst, in my opinion, one of the worst doctors I have ever met. And I have so many doctor stories I'm going to tell because that mistreatment led to the ABUSC that I had to face. And that led to some of the terrible dating because I didn't think I was worth it. And I've got a Becky out here who, yeah, she really wants to emphasize the fact that I have a disability. And, she's really trying to, like, in my opinion, she's trying to dehumanize me or try to make me feel like I'm not good enough just because of yeah, but she's the one in the middle of a divorce, right? Anyway, yeah, I'm petty because I don't, because when you do something wrong, when you say something awful, maybe you should show your kids how you're not perfect, how you are human too, and how, I mean, some of you guys are going to say it was a mistake, or this person might say it wasn't a mistake. They'll do it again because they did do it again. So, but sometimes I feel like children watch and see everything. And so you might as well let them see the mistakes that you've made. And maybe you can say how you're going to learn from them or not do it again. But don't tell somebody else that they're not allowed to talk about it. No, don't do that. That's tacky. That's ignorant. And one day, maybe that child would make sure they don't do this same thing because they saw the actions that happened after you did it. Or maybe they saw how it turned out or didn't turn out, and or how they lost opportunities and things because of those actions. And I feel like part of being a parent is you have to think about what you're going to do before you do them. Because sometimes I feel like if she would have paused, he or she, but this one I'm going to say she, if she would have paused and thought about if my child was going to hear about said action, how would I feel? Would I be embarrassed? Would I be ashamed? Then I mean, maybe that would help you not do some really ignorant, stupid things, in my opinion. But I just feel, yeah, it's not fair to tell other people what to and what not to talk about just so that you appear to be the hero that you're not, so that you can turn out being the good character when you're the villain. And some parents don't want to be seen as a villain while doing villainous things, but then they want to turn around and lie and say why they did such actions. But then, when later in life, because yeah, that's another thing. Like, if you're going to lie and tell your kids one story that is not true and that makes you look like the hero, down the line, it's going to catch up with you. One day your kids are going to see the light, or they're going to see who you really are, especially once they're adults. A lot of parents are all of a sudden like, well, they're grown now, so I can do whatever I want. Or now they're not in the house, or now they are living their lives, so they're too busy to pay attention to what I do and what I say. They're not underneath me all of the time. So now I can do exactly what I want as I want to. And I can either be a hero or a villain, and they're not going to pay attention. And so I feel like some parents are shocked when, especially later in life, the kids kind of want their space. They don't want to call, and sometimes it's because the the kid kind of sees what really happened, and or how one parent tried to hide the reality of what was going on, and or they said certain things only to be, all lies at the end of the day. And or because yeah, everyone, like, there's always more than one story. And sometimes a parent will make sure that the other side of the story is not heard, because one parent will be like, don't talk about this to the other parent, don't do this in front of the other parent, listen to me, listen to what I say, this is the truth. But then as a kid gets older, they're going to ask questions. They are. And so I just have to say, like, if you're going to go that route, make, like, yeah, one day, once that child asks that other parent, are you going to be ready? Are you going to be prepared to do your homework once that, like, especially Thanksgiving, Christmas dinners, when they're sitting with you and they start asking you and bringing things up, are you going to be ready and prepared? Because this kind of happened with, well, no, it didn't kind of, it did happen a couple of times with Mr. No Heart's family. Because I remember the time when Mrs. Masher was saying some racist things, and I let her know they were racist, and she told me, well, remember, Candace Owens says there's no more racism, and you have to understand how you got most of the stuff because you're black. It's like, if you were white, you wouldn't have had these opportunities. And but then when I her son, my ex, was in the basement, so when I would tell him later, yeah, it's like both of them would team up and say, like, no, you're not supposed to say what I said. No, it's like, that's no, that makes me look bad. No, other people aren't gonna understand what I'm saying. It's like, oh yeah, well, it sounds racist to you, but yeah, remember, I got this based off of Candace, and she's black. I got this from a black woman, so you cannot say I'm right. Like, and then that's only one, short version of the story, or whatever. But I will never forget when the oldest daughter, her and her high school friends and her cousins, each week they would have a post on Facebook. These are my N words for the week. These are my N words. These are my. And I would tell her that's racist. And no, it's not. See, it's like, it's a cool word now. But then when I went to the father, they teamed up and they erased all of the traces of it. And she even admitted later, yes, like, she didn't want to get in trouble and she didn't want to sound racist. And so she made sure to delete and hide, and like her and her cousins, because they knew if one of them showed it, then and they got in trouble, they would probably snitch on the other ones. So they all had to come together and delete really quickly. So, but yeah. but both times it's like, no, I can't be looked at as a, like, I can't, my parent can't see me as a racist, or my son and my granddaughter can't see me as a racist. When at the end of the day, when you put all of them in the same room, they're all pretty racist. So I don't know why they're ashamed of both having that in common when it it's kind of like a family tradition, right? Grandma, son, and daughter. I mean, the son still kind of, he says he's not, but then when he talks about, like, whenever he would ask me if I wanted a drink, I could never say anything grape. Yeah, just think about that. Yeah. Because he would have a joke or a comment or something racist, but then he says he's not racist because he's dating me. And yeah, it's like that's when I was like, do not even get near me. But then he said that I was being too sensitive. He would gaslight me or whatever, and he would even tell his roommate and stuff. And oh, see, she's too sensitive, and he would do the whole thing to pressure me and try to make sure that I start acting like normal again. But yeah, it's really funny how within their family, how dare I confront them and tell them about their racist actions, or even when Mrs. Masher would be like, "Oh, wow, you're not like the others." Well, okay, for 1 minute you tell me that everything I got was because I'm black, but now you're telling me that I'm not like the other black people. So I'm not black enough to be like a black person, but I'm too black so that's the only reason I'm able to accomplish anything. Is that what you're saying? Because I remember when I asked her that, she said, "Oh, I'm confused. I don't get it. No, but you're putting hateful words. I'm not racist. How dare you?" Mm. Well, the definition of racism seems to disagree. But with Mr. Lakaki's honorary stepmom or whatever, I don't know, it wasn't an honor. She was a nightmare, in my opinion, though. In my opinion. But yeah, she loved calling me the N word. And he would kind of defend me, but half the time he was under the influence of special candy. But I remember when the neighbor across the street heard and came out or whatever, and she started asking me questions, and oh, all of a sudden, don't tell her anything, don't say anything, you can't, no, that's gonna make you look what? And I till this day I'm like, I think she has kids. I forgot, but I think she does. Who? Like, okay, I'm not gonna say anything because I don't have anything nice to say about the kids that she would. Ooh, mm-mm. But I remember a few days after the situation, because I told the whole story, so yeah, it's like buried within the 600 episodes. But I know a few days later, when that neighbor came outside who told her if she ever heard her say anything like that to me again, she was going to be in trouble. When she said it with her full chest. But then some other neighbors were outside. I think, yeah, I wouldn't say Hispanic. Yeah, it's like I forgot the nationality, but I know they weren't, palm colored or whatever. But the other neighbor who helped me out, she was out too, and she was like, "Oh, I heard something going on," and so they start talking about it. But then that stepmom woman came out, and oh, she was like, "You guys can't talk about me. I know you're talking," and they were. I mean, she was telling the story, like, because if you're gonna yell out the N word like that, you think people aren't gonna talk about it? And like some of the kids were it's like, "I don't want your kids hearing about this. I don't want your kids hearing about, it's none of their business, and they're gonna see me in a way, and it's like they're not gonna feel safe with me outside." Like, okay, if you already know people aren't gonna feel safe with you, why would you say it? Why would you do it? Like, why would you say it? Why would you do it? Yeah. And I remember that I got asked out by this one guy this was in between Lock Can No Heart, and he told me that I wasn't allowed to tell his mother, but he said that he he was upset, or he said that I wasn't black enough, and that he he had to, like, I wanted, like, kind of like train me, because I remember that was the last date, because I think the first we met on a first date, but then I told him I'm not interested, leave me alone or whatever. And but then, oh yeah, it's like, something happened, like, no, actually it was funny because he acted just as crazy as a Becky or whatever. And because while we were talking on the date, I mentioned that I was going to a networking event, and I told him what city. And so he looked it up. And because I remember telling him that, I was like, no, this isn't going to work out. We're not compatible. And it's like, because, yeah, throughout that date, and like, he told me I could not tell his mom or whatever, but when you're gonna say I'm not black enough, and also my, like, a woman's education is a waste of time, but yeah, his mother has a master's as well. And so part of me was just like, oh, I think your mom would like to know. No, you can't tell her, you can't tell her this. Oh no, it's like, like, how are you going to be like that? How are you going to be? It's like, she's, if you tell her, then she's going to be upset with me. Like, well, maybe she needs to be upset with you. And so, yeah, my advice is, like, also for not just for the parents, for the kids, because I mean, if your parents are still alive and everything, or if you still talk to your parents, how would you feel if your parents found out that you were ignorant and rude and mean or racist or bigoted or anything like that? How about if they found out that you were doing things that you simply shouldn't be doing at all? Because, yeah, with this one, like, I won't forget, i I got to the event, and I just started talking and networking with people, and he shows up. And not only does he show up, he doesn't, like, try to talk to anybody. He comes straight to the table I'm at, and he cuts me off, and he keeps cutting me off. And it's like he kind of just messed up. Like, I know I was talking about doing a poetry reading with one of the people, because she was doing this whole event and everything, and she asked to see some of my work and stuff. And so we were just talking and chatting about it, and he kept cutting us off to the point where she was like, you know what, I'll come back later. And she never came back. So, yeah, I know in the church they say forget. Like, nah, I'm gonna skip that. It's like, mm, with all the Beckys and I need a male version name for the Beckys or whatever. But yeah, for all, no, I'm not gonna, like, skip that. I mean, there's sometimes where, yeah, there's forgiveness, but then when you do things that literally mess with people's lives and things like that, or when you're rude and awful and terrible and dehumanizing and things, and or you're so selfish, or it's like, you try to tell me who I am supposed to be, who I am allowed to be, or whatever, but then you turn around and you try to put me in my place, or you try, I don't know, it's just annoying. Very, very annoying. But what are your thoughts? I don't know. It's just amazing with how, well, even there's another example. Like, I had this example, I told this story over a year ago, but there was that one promotional model that I used to work with, and I'll never forget when she was just like, Well, you're not going to be working for long. You need to be shaped like a Barbie, like me. I'm I'm the type that they're going to want for years to come, not you. It's like you're it's like I'm not going to say the whole story. You're going to have to look it up, but I wonder what her father, cuz she always talks about her father and how she does things in dedication for her father. I wonder what would happen if like once she sees her father again. It's like, is she gonna be proud of that moment? Because I mean, I'm not the only one she did this to. Because see, again, like as you get older, like because as I started working promotions or for more companies, and when people would bring her up, I didn't have to say anything. Once her name was brought up, everyone was talking. Everyone was saying how mean and terrible she was. Just imagine, like, do you ever want to be that type of person where when your name is brought up, no one has a nice thing to say about you? And sometimes it will be lies because remember, with my disability, remember at Oakland University, it's like a lot of people called me a liar. A lot of people kept saying mean things about me, but at the end of the day, yeah, it's like a lot of it was based off of my disability. And a lot of them who thought they were better than me and or made fun of me, I wonder how they would feel now. It's like part of me kind of wonders like what event is going to be worth me going up there, because there's one, oh, and I was petty. I wrote her too. And I've seen her kids like twice. Yeah, coincidence. It was a coincidence, feel, because I remember saying, I was just like, because especially the second time, I'm like, won't he, God, baby Jesus, stop it. I don't want to talk to them. I don't want to see them. And I'm glad it's been several years since they've seen me, so they won't recognize or know who I am. But why am I seeing her kids now? No. No, 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 no. But did I write her? Did I write the mother? Yes, I did. And I told her exactly what I think of her, because for years it's like she because I think it was right around COVID or right before COVID she wrote me, and I was shocked. But I think she wanted some, like, it's really funny how sometimes okay, wow. It's like sometimes when you're talking to people and or you so quote unquote befriend people, but you turn mean or nasty to them, but then years later you need them, so then you write them asking for something. That's what this woman, yeah. And it's happened a few times even with promotional modeling, because since I was a really good worker, dedicated worker, I would have companies call me and they would be like, oh, can you work this promo? We'll rent you a car. And then it's like sometimes it'll get back to some of the monsters that I worked with. And next thing you know, they're calling me. Oh, hey, yeah, I heard you had a car. Do you have any room in the car? Oh, yeah, do you do this? Like, oh, can I do? And it was just like, oh, weren't you talking about my walking? Or weren't you talking about or asking if I bleach my skin or something? Or um weren't you saying that I must have had a boob job or whatever? They can't be real. Yeah, it's like no. No. You can't. I'm like, no, there's not enough room. It's like my self-esteem is in the back seat. No. No, my character is in the passenger seat. Yeah, no. Mm-mm. Yeah, what's in the trunk? No, none of your business is in the trunk. Yeah, I have no room. No room. So, but yeah, so that's why I just have to say, if you are mean and evil and awful to people, Even if you're a parent, that does not matter. If it gets back to your kids, good. Good. Your kids need to learn and know. And they need to know that when they're a parent, whatever they do is going to get back to the children. It's like whatever actions, and this is why they, like, a lot of people say, be of good character. And if you're not of good character, it's going to come to the light. And for some of you, you think you're going to hide it until your last day. But I think that's kind of tacky. Like, really? It's like you'd rather your kids find out or be disappointed in you once you leave the earth, so then there's no way for you to apologize or just say, yeah, that was a bad day, that was a bad moment, I regret it now. But instead, no, they don't get to hear that. Mm, what a pity. What a pity. So, and yes, I'm not a parent yet, but each time I dated a guy with kids, I did have good character. I did make sure I was the best person I could be. I did watch my actions. I don't think there's anything I regret. Mm-mm. And it was to the point where Mr. Nohart's oldest daughter said I was more of a mother than her mother was. And she decided, like, because I told her not to call me mom or stepmom, because at first she called me mom. I was like, ooh, nope, nope, nope. It's like, you got a mother, call her mother. That's her place. And then she called me like honorary stepmom, or no, first then she called me stepmom, and I'm like, well, I'm not marrying your. And I was like, and I'm never like, God is good, because yeah, he said he never wanted to marry me. And at first I was just like, well, wow. And I thought maybe it's because I'm not good enough, but then I realized, no, God is good. Mm, all the time. Can I get an amen? Because with everything that I was working on, with all of my ideas, with everything he tried to distinguish, or like, just, he tried to eliminate all my goals and dreams. Everything I worked on, he would be negative about. And does his daughters know? Not really, no. I hope they one day will see how terrible he was to me. How every time I was working on something, creating something, he would dehumanize me or tell me that's not good, or that laugh or whatever. And but then it was really crazy, like during COVID or whatever. It's like I was on the friend version of Bumble, and I'd be like, yeah, I'm working on some stuff, and people were like, oh, do you have any samples? So I showed them the website, and they're like, this is amazing. Oh my gosh, are you kidding? And that's one reason why now I'm working on everything at once, because I'm like, oh, and they're just like, you should be selling this, you should be making more of these, you should be doing this and that or whatever. So, and now I'm like, no, yeah, he was doing his best to make sure that I wasn't going to be able to live up to my goals and dreams. So, yeah, yeah. But do these girls know everything? No, they don't. It's like, and that's why I don't regret anything, because I did everything that I possibly could to try to make their lives the best as possible. And I did it without trying to have that title or role of mom or stepmom, because I'm not. I plan on adopting and being a foster mom one day, and I will cherish and love that. And when I do have my kids, I'm going to make sure they know that everything I do will be in good character. And I want to make sure we volunteer and give back and nourish and pour positivity into people and show people love and caring and empathy, sympathy, compassion. That's what I want to do. I want to show them how name calling is evil, vile, and just dumb. This is the Handicapable Black Woman Throne Room. I am a woman, I am of color, and I am handicapable. But most importantly, I am human, and you're human too.